Darnell Rollins was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he decided for some reason he was going to go off on Katt Williams, try to expose Katt Williams, try to present Katt Williams as this hater and down-talk him. But it backfired because he just ended up looking stupid by the end of the podcast.
I don't want to be triggering anything, but doesn't that become destructive
100%.
after a while?
100%.
And have you noticed, especially, I'll put it like this, especially with comedians with podcasts. It used to be a time where, like you say, a person would go on a podcast because it was interesting, they told funny stories,
right,
or they was good at their craft or whatever. But now it feels like all these platforms, and I don't know, that's just in my community, when I say that, black people, it's like the only way I can find myself interesting if I talk shit about people.
Before he even gets to Katt Williams, Darnell Rollins is breaking every code possible. Listen, black folks, we know what the code is. When we in the presence of other communities, especially, a powerful white man, you don't down talk the black community, man. You're supposed to uplift the black community. You're supposed to tell Joe Rogan, oh, nah, this black comic doing this black comic doing that. So Joe Rogan can invite others and let them through the door. But niggas like Darnell Rollins, when they get in front of powerful white men, they down talk the black community because they want to be the only one in them rooms. Right? Now, Joe, listen, Joe, those other black comedians, when they go on podcasts, they just filled with drama. That's why, Joe, I'm on this podcast and we're laughing and we're having a good time. I'm one of the only black guys, Joe, who can come on this podcast and go back and forth and have fun with you. Those other guys, if they come on your podcast, Joe, they're gonna bring drama. Dog, this is just nasty. Nasty work. And even more proof that Darnell Rollins wants to be the only black man in these rooms. Because when Joe Rogan brings up Katt Williams, see how Darnell Rollins malfunctioned.
Right.
And are going away from being funny when you get interviewed. Like every podcast I turn on now, it's somebody, I'm exposed this person. I'm going to tell this about what you didn't know. And the one thing they're not doing, especially as a stand-up comedian, don't give a about being funny no more. Are those days over?
No. Those people that do that are almost always not very talented. Almost always. The only exception
so
to
who
that,
they fooling?
The only exception to that is Katt. And I think what Katt was doing was different, because what Katt was doing was exposing what he thought was snakes and liars.
Okay,
it's a different thing.
Okay.
Nah, that ain't cool, bro. That ain't right, man. That's not. But you never want to be like Darnell Rollins, bro. You never want to be the black man who's in them rooms like Darnell Rollins, bro. Yo, Donnell almost fell out of his chair when Joe Rogan gave Katt Williams a compliment. Oh, no. Bro, the only person who doesn't right is Katt. Well, no, Donnell. Have some decorum, man, how you carry yourself. Now, a lot of y'all think like getting in these rooms and down talking other brothers, right, make yourself look better, and it doesn't, bro. It makes you look terrible, right? Because Katt Williams can be himself. Katt Williams has been himself. Unapologetically Katt Williams. And just by the very interaction, when Donnell fell out of his seat, like had the reaction, was shaking and was like having like an exorcism, when Katt Williams came up, Joe Rogan begins to tell Donnell to watch it. That's the level of respect you get from powerful people when you're yourself. Donnell will always be seen as a gesture. But even Katt Williams telling Donnell to watch it shows that, Joe respects Katt Williams and respect how he gives it up. He don't gotta, bootlick to be respected. He's just respected. And Donnell, with all that bootlicking, still ain't as respected as Katt Williams.
Right, because what Katt was doing was exposing what he thought was snakes and liars.
Okay.
It's a different thing.
Okay. This is my question.
Okay.
This is my question.
Okay.
I know, this is my question. People can take it.
Okay.
I want to say this. This is what I'm saying, Joe.
What are you saying?
I'm coming from this place. I'm like this. No disrespect or whatever to Katt, but like, who asked you?
Shannon Sharp did when he did that podcast.
if you're gonna try to hate on somebody, you at least have to make sense. Donnell couldn't even put together a coherent argument for why what Katt Williams is doing is wrong. Darnell Rollins actually made himself look a little crazy. I'll be real. Darnell made himself look a little nasty, in my opinion, bro. Because Joe Rogan is absolutely right. Darnell is trying to kick the brother back in, and Joe Rogan got the brother back. Katt Williams was just answering Shannon Sharpe questions. Shannon Sharpe asked Katt Williams about certain people, and Katt Williams answered his questions. But then Darnell went on this weird rant about why do he need to expose people? Like, what did he get out of it? And I'm like, hold on. If Katt Williams is exposing weirdos and freaks in the industry, if he's exposing people who did nasty things, like what do you mean, what's the point? Like, and what? No, right? No, he's exposing weirdos because weirdos deserve to be exposed. End of question. Like, he's exposing them because weirdos deserve to... End of sentence. Cap, that's all. But Darnell Rollins don't seem to understand that. He believes that these weirdos and freaks should be left alone to do whatever they've been doing in the industry.
Shannon Sharpe might have asked one question.
But Shannon Sharpe likes that. Like
what?
That in his
the
podcast.
Salacious,
He likes a lot of that. His people, they find questions. He's got a sheet of paper. He's got
Joe,
questions of people they have beef.
Joe, what do you do with those truths? What do you do with talking about? I watched, this is a horrible impression. I sat there in the parking lot and I watched people go up into Diddy's house and they came down and they were standing up. I'm trying to figure out what the do you get out of that? What is the result of that? You expose these people to say what? Hollywood is never going to change. You know what changes? Like what you do. I left Hollywood. Hollywood is not going to change. And I'm not saying I went to a Diddy party. First off, I was never invited. There's a chance I would accept the invitation with rules, you know?
Right.
But what is the purpose of exposing something that
I don't think most people are exposing. What most people are doing when they're being negative is they are jealous and they are below the person they're talking shit about. Like whenever I see someone that's talking shit about
Katt
a
was
high
jealous
level,
about, you say that and you use Katt Williams as an example. So when you said they're jealous.
First of all, when Katt did it, it was very funny. It
was very funny.
Katt's a very funny guy.
And
when
funny.
he was doing it, I think he was also being very funny while he was doing it, which is different.
Well, you have to put an LOL on the end of it because people might not understand his humor. Because this is the connection people have. The connection they have with Katt. This is what they say. And they ride with him. They say, "Where is the lie? Where is the lie?" and all this stuff. But I'm just trying to understand what is the purpose of exposing all this stuff. What do we do with this information? What do we do with the information that Diddy like to have freak parties with baby oil? What the do we do with all this information?
Donnell is just too dumb to understand what's going on. One, Katt Williams is about to fry you up. You made a big error. Two, if your goal was to cozy up to Joe Rogan, all you got to do is go along with Joe Rogan. Joe isn't talking about Katt Williams and no, Joe is talking about somebody very specific. Joe's talking about like people like Mark McCrone and others, right? Who, for the most part, were friends with Joe at some point. They like became enemies. Now they're on podcasts, pretty much like critiquing Joe. And other comedians are like critiquing Joe for this weird right-wing pivot he did in Austin. So he's talking about those people. If Donnell really wanted to cozy up to Joe Rogan, you listen and go in on the comedians who are going off on Joe Rogan. That's what Joe Rogan is talking about. The comedians who are on YouTube doing podcasts, going off on them, right? Those are the people he's talking about. Like Bill, but even Bill went off and on like Joe Rogan, right? For this right-wing weird pivot they're currently on, right? So Joe's talking about somebody, people very different. You keep bringing Katt into a situation. Joe Rogan, knows, man, he not talking shit about Katt. He don't want those problems. You should probably take his lead in direction. He keeps trying to pivot into the actual people he's talking about. You keep trying to redirect the Katt Williams. Why are you adamant about kicking a brother back in when the white man trying to talk about other white folks who's been doing nasty things? But even the argument of well, like, why are you on podcasts talking about who's going to Diddy parties? Well, if Diddy parties have some nasty things at Diddy parties, he should expose it. Katt Williams got to expose it because people like you, Donnell, we can rely on. Donnell is the type of dude who would know very well whatever the rumor is true, but then when he does an interview and they ask him about it, that's not true. You would deny. All right, so we need people like Katt Williams. Can you imagine if whistleblowers like Katt Williams didn't exist? How much these dudes will be able to get away with? How much they'll be able to deny? Katt Williams forced comedians like Donnell to come on these podcasts and tell the truth, or else they know Katt Williams going to be lurking to expose them.
But the reason why these comedians are doing it is because they're never bigger than the comedians they're on. Never.
1,000%.
1,000%.
And you know what it is, Joe?
And they're never good.
You know what it is too, Joe? Is that deep down inside, they want to be that person.
100%.
And I tell you
or
what,
they want to be in the position that person's in is a better way of putting it.
And I'll use this. I'll tell you this story. I realize not to say names, but it's so many people that could be guilty of it. And this is the thing that I hear that understands me, that disturbs me, is that, you know, a lot of these people that the most, they at some point in their career, they were favored by Hollywood.
Yes.
At some point in their career, they had these opportunities. At some point in their career, guess what? They had the agencies. They had the agents. And something happened in their career where they fell out of favor for whatever you want to call that is. Whatever you want to call that, for whatever. Maybe something they did, agency didn't like them too much. And now, everything that they wrote on, everything they wanted to do, now it's all that's f***ed up, and the only way you get this opportunity because it has to be favors and all that type of shit. And where did the fuck draw the line?
But it's not even
like
favors.
I'll tell you
it's
like
like they criticize the work of the other person. That person ain't shit. That person sucks.
Can I? Yo, here's the thing. There was.
Come on, you get this all the time because you ride with Dave and Dave's number one, right? So you always get this label, even though you're a great comic, this label being a coattail rider.
Right. And guess what? Everybody this is what I try to explain to people, Joe. Everybody does not have to be Batman. I don't have a problem with being Robin. You know why? Because Robin got the same amount of screen time as Batman.
I know you off code, bro. You off code. That ain't cool, man. That ain't cool, bro. You ain't supposed to do that, bro. But I feel like that's low-key the problem here, bro. Donnell just explained at the very end why he's jealous of people like Katt Williams. Yo, you tell Katt Williams, hey, show up to play Robin, he not doing it, bro. No. Katt Williams has main character syndrome. Katt Williams wants to strive to be the best and the greatest. Katt Williams is chasing people like Dave Chappelle. Darnell Rollins get offended at Katt Williams and his greatness and his aspirations. Because why do you want to be so great? Like, why don't you just want to be a Robin? Darnell Rollins have been comfortable and content in being Dave Chappelle's handbag for the last 3 decades. Katt Williams ain't that, bro. He not going for that, man. If you comfortable being mediocre, then be mediocre, man. But y'all let me know in the comment section, man, what do you guys think about this, bro? All right, and if you're still watching this video and you want to watch another good video, then click on this video right here to find out how DMX disgusting family, right, exposed them, embarrassed them, and ruined his entire legacy during this new interview. I'm going to see you guys in this DMX video. And if you enjoy my content, then please click the hype button below this video. A hype is how you push my video in the algorithm for me. You get 3 hypes a week, so please send me a hype if you enjoy my content. I'm going to see you guys in this DMX video, okay? I'm out of here, folks. Peace.